Guys, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into the channel. Much appreciated. Out here late at night in the tackle room for tonight's tip. Just been a long day. I got up at 5:30 this morning, heading on the water lesson at Stockton Lake. Fished in the cold all day long. Did a Fish the Moment live podcast with Johnny Schultz a little bit earlier. Got Elijah put in bed, got the kids all bathed, and out here in the tackle room, and I'm ready for bed, man. It's been a long day. But I wanted to kick out today's tip here real quick, and I'm going to give you guys my secret Finesse A-rig that I like to use in the wintertime. I'm going to show you guys how to set it up and exactly what it is. And real quick, if you guys are interested in any of these components, not the A-rig, but the components I'm talking about, I'll include the Baitworks link in the description. If you use that link, it's a good way to help the channel out. And also, if you guys are interested in financing a boat, whether you buy it at Boatworks or not, I'll include the Summit Financing link in the description. And this is Summit Finance is part of Boatworks that I'm working with in Springfield, Missouri. If you use the link in the description that I give you and you finance the boat through Boatworks, you can buy it anywhere. You don't have to buy it at Boatworks, but if you buy a boat at Boatworks or anywhere else and you use the Summit Financing, you get a $100 gift certificate to the Baitworks tackle store if you use the link in the description here. So just wanted to pass that along. Okay, let's talk a little bit about A-rigs first, guys. First of all, there's three things. I don't want to use the word hate. I don't like to use the word hate, but there's three things I really dislike in bass fishing are live scopes, bed fishing, and A-rigs. Those are three things I just can't stand. I've caught a ton of fish on an A-rig, don't get me wrong, but the reason I don't like an A-rig is there's obviously the obvious conservation points of view on the thing. But the thing about an A-rig I don't like in competition is that in certain situations, if you don't throw it, you can't win. And what happens is what happened when they allowed A-rigs in the FLW events. Everybody would out there, they'd try an A-rig for a couple hours and most people wouldn't get bid on it. They'd put it down and the tournament would get one on an A-rig. But aside from the fact that I just don't like rigging the things up. They are a pain in the butt to rig up. It takes forever to rig them up. It takes forever to rig them right. If you fish a lot of lakes with standing timber like I do, you lose a lot of them. And, they're hard to store. They're hard to keep in a boat. I just don't like them. I think it's like one of the worst inventions that there ever was for bass fishing, although it is highly effective. And the time that I do use an A-rig is when I'm fun fishing, in the wintertime a lot. And I've used a lot of different A-rigs out there. I've experimented with a lot of different ones, but the one that I want to show you guys here is my Finesse A-rig. And I have found out that over the course of time that the A-rig has been in existence, they used to start out with like these big giant umbrella rigs. I mean, these things were honking huge. And eventually they started getting smaller and smaller. And the thing that I found out is by going to this Finesse A-rig that I'm showing is I catch a lot of bass in the winter on it, and I catch some big ones too on it, simply because it's a little bit different profile. So here it is. I'm going to show you guys what it is. This is the Megabass the Megabass Spark Rig Junior. This is a diminutive side. This thing is small. The wires on it are only like 4 inches long here, and there's 4 wires on the thing, and most of them have 5, but this one's got 4 wires, no spinners on it, and it's a small, compact profile A-rig. And the thing that I like about this is it's not difficult to throw. Most A-rigs are super hard to throw. You can throw this thing just about like throwing, a football head jig or something. It's not that heavy depending upon the heads you use. The way that I like to rig it up, there's a lot of different ways. I've got 4 Megabass 4-inch spark shads on here. Sometimes I'll use the 3-inch spark shads. Sometimes I'll use the 3-inch Megabass Hazendong with smaller heads on it. A lot of the bait that I use on it is dependent upon the size of fish that I'm after. Depending on the water clarity that I'm fishing, that type of stuff, and the weather conditions a lot of times. One thing I found out about A-rigs, guys, is if you have the cloudy, windy type days in the wintertime, they like the bigger baits. It seems like they're not as spooky on the large baits like this 4-inch size here. But on a day that's like bright, sunny, not much wind, I'll go to like the little 3-inch Megabass Hazendong shad, a lot smaller than that. But even though I've got the bigger swim baits on here, the 4-inch ones, the difference that this thing has is the profile and the compactness of this Megabass Spark Rig Junior, or there's some other ones out there. There's one called a Desert Rig. Some guy makes out in Nevada for Lake Mead in California that's sort of the same way. But these Finesse type A-rigs like that, you can still use the bigger trailers on them, but it puts a smaller, compact overall profile to the A-rig. It's not, a lot of A-rig, arms on them are 8 or 10 inches long, twice the size of this one. And I just think that sometimes that, you just don't catch as many fish on it, particularly in tougher conditions. But this is it, guys. Like I said, I don't even think Megabass makes this anymore. This is the Megabass Spark Rig Junior. But the point of the matter is you can even modify your own A-rigs. If you have a big A-rig, cut the wires in half, make it smaller, compact profile. This entire setup here from head to toe is only, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches long at the very most. 8 inches long, maybe. Yeah, probably about 8 inches long. So it's just a really good way to catch them. I throw this on a Megabass Alkalies flipping stick, usually 20-pound test fluorocarbon line. Variety of different jig heads on it. My favorite jig head for an A-rig is I like to use like 2/16 of an ounce on the top, and then 2 1/8 ounces in the center and the bottom. It seems to get it to run straight, gets in the depth. So that's my Finesse A-rig right there. Like I said, I'll throw the thing a lot, just fun fishing, but even in the tournaments that it's legal in, I really don't throw it much in there. I just don't really like I don't like looking for those type of fish a lot of times. I just feel like there's other type of fish that I'm a little bit more efficient in catching than the A-rig fish. But it is a fun bait to fish. I mean, when they're biting it, a lot of times you can't compete unless you're using an A-rig at certain conditions. Right now is the time that they bite it the best. If you're in a clear water environment where your water visibilities are over 3 feet and your water temperatures are in the 40s and 50s, and we're getting up towards the winter solstice right now, an A-rig is tough to beat. And one of the things I found out about it is anytime that you have a lake where there's a jerkbait bite going on, there's usually always an A-rig bite that will complement the jerkbait bite. A lot of times I'll mix it up. I'll have the A-rig on and I'll have a jerkbait on, mix it up. Most of the time you get more bites on the jerkbait, you get bigger bites on the A-rig. But regardless, downsize your A-rigs, try the little bit more finesse approach, and I think that will get you a lot more bites and even some quality ones. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. That would be much appreciated here, and we'll see y'all later.